Ladies and gentlemen, your kind attention to the video screens for our Silver Award winners.
Engineers create innovative solutions to protect, sustain, and enhance communities throughout New York State and across the world. Tonight, we recognize the ingenuity and dedication of these talented professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ACEC New York's 55th Annual Engineering Excellence Awards. Our association is proud to recognize 113 projects from over 50 firms. These projects, including safe roads and bridges, efficient buildings, and essential water and energy systems, would not be possible without the coordinated efforts of engineers, architects, contractors, and clients. Please join ACEC New York in recognizing our Silver Award winners. For excellence in the category of studies, research, and consulting engineering services, Sam Schwartz Engineering. And the client is Radson Development.
For excellence in the category of building technology systems, CNS Companies. And the client is Madison County.
Dagger Engineering. And the client is OLI Architecture.
For excellence in the category of structural systems, Arup. And the client is Rockefeller Group.
C&S Companies. And the client is Steuben County Department of Public Works.
Gilsands, Murray, Stefik. And the client is Trinity Real Estate.
Tectonic Engineering Consultants, Geologists, and Land Surveyors. And the client is the related companies.
WSP USA. And the client is the New York City Department of Transportation, Division of Roadway Bridges.
For excellence in the category of environmental, Woodard and Curran. And the client is Westchester County.
For excellence in the category of waste and stormwater, Dewberry. And the client is the New York City Department of Design and Construction.
Gannett Fleming Engineers and Architects. And the client is Great Neck Water Pollution Control District.
HDR. And the client is New York City Parks.
WSP USA. And the client is the New York City Department of Design and Construction.
For excellence in the category of water resources, C2AE. And the client is Village of Hewelton.
For excellence in the category of transportation, AECOM. And the client is MTA Bridges and Tunnels.
For excellence in the category of special projects, AECOM. And the client is the New York City Department of Design and Construction.
D. Simone Consulting Engineers. And the client is Albany.
Hardesty and Hanover Construction Services. And the client is New York State Department of Transportation.
HDR. And the client is New York City Parks.
Jacobs. And the client is the New York City Department of Design and Construction.
NV5. And the client is the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our hosts for this evening, ACEC New York Chair Rick Zottola and Chair-elect Dan Dupre.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rick Zottola, Chair of ACEC New York and partner at Lyra Consulting Structural Engineers, and I am pleased to welcome all of you to the 55th Annual Engineering Excellence Awards. Yeah. Before we begin celebrating the accomplishments of our members, it is important we also reflect on the difficulties facing our world today. Please join me in a moment of silence in recognition of the war in Ukraine and its inflicted pain, suffering, and loss of life. Thank you. While it's important to focus on the future and work towards a better tomorrow, it is essential to our growth as a nation and as global citizens to reflect on the past and current challenges. To that end, please rise and unite for the playing of our national anthem. Tonight is special for many reasons. First, I would like to wish our Muslim attendees a happy Ramadan. Second, I'm thrilled to stand here and welcome you all back safely to the Midtown Hilton. While we were able to gather last October for a special Engineering Excellence Luncheon event, it feels wonderful to meet here at the Hilton again for the first time since 2019. In these interim years, our industry has been busy. As you have just seen in the first group of award-winning projects, engineers have risen to the challenge represented by the pandemic and contributed greatly to keeping our community safe in their use of the built environment. It's more important now than ever to recognize these accomplishments. These projects are the result of years of innovation and creativity of talented engineers across New York State. The dedication and hard work of these talented professionals must be acknowledged and celebrated. We're doing that tonight. In this room are not only the engineers behind those incredible accomplishments, but also the clients with the vision and contractors with the skill to create a bright future for all of us. If the last 2 years have taught us anything, it's that we should always expect the unexpected and prepare to enact plans B, C, and even D at any given moment. This morning, our president and CEO, John Evers, unfortunately tested positive for COVID-19. Staff and ExCom acted quickly to inform everyone who came into contact with him yesterday, and we are all relieved to report that everyone tested negative. Our chair, Dan Dupre, graciously volunteered to step in Johnny's absence, and ACEC New York thanks him for agreeing to take on this role. The safety and well-being of our guests is of utmost importance, and to this end, we believe full transparency was the best course of action. Johnny asked us to share that he is doing well, and while he is sorry he won't be here to celebrate in person, He is with us in spirit and congratulates all the award winners, award of merit winners, and scholarship recipients on their accomplishments. But don't worry, with Johnny on the DL, this gala will not be devoid of baseball metaphors. COVID dealt us a high inside curveball. ACEC New York leadership and staff read the pitch and stayed back in the batter's box. We swung, connected, got the meat of the bat on the ball, and it's a high drive. We'll leave it to all of you, our distinguished umpires, to rule on whether the ball cleared the foul pole or not. I'm pleased that many special guests were able to join us tonight, and I'd like to recognize a few of them. Please hold your applause until all of their names are read. Our many representatives from New York State and New York City agencies include Richard Lee, Chief Engineer for New York State Thruway Authority; Jamie Torres Springer, President of Construction and Development for MTA. I'm seeing spotlights, by the way, so look out for those. Mark Roche, Deputy Chief Development Officer for MTA Construction and Development. Kathy Sheridan, Chief of Staff for MTA Construction and Development. Eric McFarland, Deputy Commissioner of New York City Department of Design and Construction. Marie-Therese Dominguez, Commissioner for New York State Department of Transportation. Idanis Rodriguez, Commissioner for New York City Department of Transportation. Joseph Ackroyd, Assistant Commissioner, Technical Affairs and Code Development for New York City Department of Buildings. And Colonel Matthew Luzzatto, Commander, District Engineer for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I also welcome Art Barrett, Chair-elect of ACEC National, John Gamble, President of ACEC Canada, and David Murray, Chair of ACEC Canada. I also offer sincere welcome to representatives of our 2 Award of Merit winners, whom we will honor later in the program. Matthew Bradley, Senior Project Manager for Empire State Development, and Alan Steele, President and Chief Executive Officer of the New York Convention Center Operating Authority. They manage the Javits Center. I also welcome the various representatives of the military present tonight, including the New York National Guard, who played an integral role in transforming the Javits Center into a field hospital and a vaccination center. Thank you all for joining us tonight for this momentous occasion. At this time, I'd like to turn the program over to my co-host for this evening, ACEC New York Chair-elect and National Transportation Practice Leader for CPL, Dan Dupre.
Thank you, Rick, and good evening, everyone. As incoming chair, I'm honored to step in tonight and represent ACEC New York in celebrating the ingenious and exceptional projects being honored tonight. As the past few years have proven, our lives are increasingly online. And to help us promote the amazing work of our talented members by sharing photos and insights about this event on social media using our hashtag and tagging ACEC New York. While we encourage your participation and the use of their phones, please make sure they're on silent during the program and continue to give our honorees your respectful attention. I would be remiss if I did not recognize the time and dedication of our panel of Engineering Excellence judges, which included representatives from agencies and authorities, academia, architecture, media, and many other sectors related to the built environment. Judging took place in New York City on a single day in late October to review the engineering excellence entries based on the criteria of originality, technical value, social and economic considerations, and complexity. May I ask the judges who are in attendance tonight, please stand and be recognized. The future is looking bright for the built environment. Following the passage of the Bipartisan Infrastructure and Investment Jobs Act in November of 2021, we especially thank our two MCs, Congressman Ritchie Torres and Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, for, that's right, give them an applause. This will allow our members to build for the future, repairing and improving our roads, bridges, airports, water, and energy transmission systems. ACEC New York is continuing to track the allocations of this essential funding to our ailing infrastructure. Our members have also focused on the future when it comes to the people who will build this brighter tomorrow. In 2021, ACEC New York promoted an award-winning series of sessions promoting diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Additionally, our organization launched the new DEI&B Awards, which recognize the efforts of 19 member firms. Through these efforts, alongside our scholarship program, ACEC New York is supporting a diverse group of talented men and women who will design and build the New York which we, our children, and our children's children will live and work. At this time, it is my pleasure to turn the program over to the co-chairs of our Engineering Excellence Committee. Please join me in welcoming Thomas Casino and Luke Martinek.
Thank you. As Dan mentioned, I'm Tom Casino, Vice President at AECOM, past Chair of ACEC New York, and current Co-Chair of the Engineering Excellence Committee. I will also be serving as a Vice Chair on the National ACEC Board of Directors very shortly. It's exciting to stand here on the stage, not only because it is our first live evening awards gala in years, but also because this is the first time standing on this stage as co-chairs of the Engineering Excellence Committee. Luke and I are honored to represent this committee, without whom tonight's festivities would not be possible. Will those Engineering Excellence Committee members in attendance please stand and be recognized? Thank you for all your hard work and dedication as you continue to support the Engineering Excellence Committee. We look forward to seeing the new accomplishments of this program in the coming years.
Thank you, Tom. Good evening, everyone. I'm Luke Martinek, Vice President and General Manager of Sam Schwartz's New York office. I'm also co-chair, along with Tom, of the Engineering Excellence Committee. I've served on this committee for many years and recognize the importance of this awards program. The hard work and perseverance of engineers deserves recognition. Tonight's event would not be possible without the generosity and dedication of our sponsors. I'd now like to recognize those generous firms. Please hold your applause until I've named all of our sponsors. Our diamond sponsors, AECOM, STV Group, WSP USA. Our gold sponsors, Arup, D. Simone, GEI Consultants, Hardesty and Hanover, Haugland Group, Hazen and Sawyer, Jacobs, Jaros Bowman Bowles, KS Engineers, Langen Engineering, Lyra Consulting Structural Engineers, M&J Engineering, Parsons, Severud Associates, Stantec, Siska Hennessy, and Thornton Tomasetti. Our silver sponsors, Cameron Engineering, CHA, HDR, NV5, and VHB. I'd also like to thank our gala program advertisers as well as our patron tables. You all chose to support this essential awards program in the engineering industry in New York State. Thank you for your generosity.
The ACEC New York Scholarship Fund is dedicated to encouraging the next generation of engineers. Since its inception in 2002, the fund has generated more than $1 million to support the education of over 300 third and fourth year engineering students. Tonight, we honor 2 outstanding Award of Merit winners. Each winner will have a $10,000 scholarship awarded to a deserving student in their name.
Is presented to the Empire State Development. Efficient and accessible transportation is essential to commerce, tourism, and life as we know it in New York. Despite the challenges of the pandemic, the Moynihan Train Hall project was completed on time and within budget. Furthermore, many ACEC New York members were crucial in the successful completion of this project. Moynihan is just one example of how Empire State Development is instrumental in the success of not only our industry, but for New York State as a whole. This agency has had oversight of some of the most ambitious projects in New York City and across the state, including the Highline Moynihan Connector, the Connect All Initiative, which supports statewide broadband infrastructure, the Upstate Revitalization Initiative supporting Central New York, the Finger Lakes and Southern Tier regions, and the Buffalo Billion, investing $1 billion into job creation and economic growth in the Buffalo region. ESD has also been responsible for overseeing construction and development of our second Award of Merit recipient, the Javits Convention Center. We thank Empire State Development for all they do for the future of New York, and we are proud to recognize these contributions. On behalf of the engineering industry, ACEC New York recognizes Empire State Development with the Award of Merit. Accepting on behalf of ESD is Matthew Bradley, Senior Project Manager.
Thank you, Luke. On behalf of Empire State Development and the Moynihan Train Hall team, I would like to sincerely thank ACEC New York for this tremendous honor. Both our Commissioner, Hope Knight, and Executive Director, Doug Carr, were looking forward to accepting this award here tonight, but send their sincerest appreciation and congratulations. Moynihan Train Hall is the product of decades of planning, 3.5 years of construction, and a diligent, adaptive reuse of a century-old landmark. The result is a testament to that legacy, delivering a magnificent gateway and a 21st century travel experience at the nation's busiest hub. The train hall and its innovative delivery model represents the work of so many, including the leadership of the state of New York, the project stakeholders, MTA, Long Island Railroad, Amtrak, and Vornado Realty Trust, critical support from New York's congressional delegation, the US DOT, the Port Authority, and our designer and builder teams led by SOM and Skanska. The project was also made possible by the extraordinary vision and leadership of the late Michael Evans, president of the Moynihan Station Development Corporation and an inspiration to many in this room. The success of this project simply would not have been possible without the tremendous talents and skill of our engineering, design, and construction partners, including our ACEC member partners. In particular, congratulations to the winning firms for this well-deserved recognition. Thank you to our team, and thank you, ACEC New York.
Well, congratulations to Senior Project Manager Bradley and to Empire State Development. Now I'd like to present our first 2 scholarships. Will Art Elzamora, Scholarship Chair, please join me on stage? Our first scholarship student recipient of the first Award of Merit, Scholarship in honor of Empire State Development, is Kasim Eklak. Kasim was introduced to the world of construction through his family business, and he learned the rewards and challenges of construction at an early age. His interest in problem solving led to passion for calculus and physics, which eventually led him to pursue a degree in engineering. Kasim is eager to solve modern problems in his future career as a consulting engineer. Please join me in congratulating Kasim Eklak.
Now I'd like to recognize our second Award of Merit honoree, the Jacob K. Javits Center. The Jacob K. Javits Center is quintessential to New York. Opened in 1986, the Javits Center has hosted thousands of trade shows and conventions. It's considered the busiest convention center in the country. This venue has also been on the forefront of innovation and sustainability. In 2014, following an extensive renovation and expansion, the Javits Center reopened with a state-of-the-art 7-acre green roof, the largest in the Northeast, a new exterior curtain wall with energy-efficient glass, updated flooring, and approximately 2,400 skylight panels. Recently, the Javits has installed 100 energy-efficient HVAC units and new energy-efficient lighting. These and other initiatives have earned the venue LEED Silver certification. Javits was essential to the public's well-being and recovery during the COVID-19 pandemic. When New York City hospitals were short on hospital beds, with the assistance of the National Guard, representatives of which who have joined us here this evening, Javits was converted first into a field hospital and then a vaccination center, administering over 600,000 vaccine shots. On behalf of the engineering industry, ACEC New York recognizes the Jacob K. Javits Center with the Award of Merit. Accepting the award on behalf of the Javits Center is Alan Steele, President and Chief Executive Officer of the New York Convention Center Operating Corporation.
Good evening, and thank you to the American Council of Engineering Companies for their invitation tonight. And congratulations to all of you who are honorees for your hard work and deserved recognition. It is a true honor to be here tonight and accept this honor on behalf of the Javits Center. 2 years ago today, we were operating as the first COVID-19 emergency hospital center in the country. And in just 4 days, our Teamsters, carpenters, electricians, plumbers, painters, administrative staff built a 2,000-bed field hospital. And then we supported those units with our cleaners, with our security staff, and with our administrative staff throughout the whole period of our occupation. A long year later, we began operating the nation's largest vaccination center. Thanks to these efforts, many lives were saved. More than 1,000 people were treated at the Javits Center in our COVID hospital period, and not all of them made it out of there. So despite what you might hear from others, we were a fully occupied center. We're deeply proud that this work has helped the city recover and move forward, and really are glad that we can all meet safely here tonight. But this did not happen without the work of many others. Our staff worked side by side with the Army Corps of Engineers, with the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the New York National Guard, the FDNY, the NYPD, the New York State Police, the New York State Department of Health, New York City Department of Health, and many, many other agencies, as well as hundreds of doctors and nurses treating our patients inside the convention center. Without them, Javits would not be represented here tonight, and I'd like to thank them publicly for the work that they did for us and for you. And I'd like to recognize some of the leaders of those organizations who are with us here tonight. So if you would all please stand, Colonel Tom Asbury from the Army Corps of Engineers, Colonel Michael Bice and Command Sergeant Robert Jenks from the New York National Guard, Mojo Rahim from FEMA, Dr. Doug Fish, Dr. Eugene Heslin, and Lynn Lee from the Department of Health at New York State. Please, if you would all stand, I'd like to recognize you and all the work that you do. I'd also like to give a special thanks to Ken Dixon, our own head of security, and Chris McMahon, to Doreen Guerin, and to Marilyn, who has been here every night working with all of these folks, make sure that we could deliver the medical services that we needed to deliver. But now we are back to business. And as much as we loved working with you folks, we hope we never have to do it again. Thanks to the expansion which we completed during the pandemic and which added more than 1 million square feet to the Javits Center, and with many energy and sustainable practices now incorporated into our programs, we recently added a 1-acre farm to the roof, and we will generate at that farm up to 40,000 pounds of fruit and vegetables each year, which will be incorporated into the meals that we serve to our clients, perhaps next year to ACE's Gala event in 2023. Talk to me later, whoever needs to do it. The roof that we have on the Javits Center has transformed into a wildlife sanctuary. We now have 35 bird species, we have 5 bat species, and we have 3,000 honeybees who produce constantly on our rooftop. It's helped reduce our energy consumption by 26% and helped make sustainability a core value for our business. Improving infrastructure is a key for a productive society and for a successful future. And I know many of you have helped us in that project. AECOM, WSP, STV, Stantec, Sam Schwartz. We thank you all, and we look forward to continuing to work with you in the future. On behalf of us all, thank you for what you've done, thank you for what you do, and thank you for what you will do in the future.
Our second student recipient of the Javits Center Award and Merit Scholarship is Robert Kovac. Robert developed a passion for safe and reliable transportation infrastructure following a car accident which permanently changed the course of his life. He was inspired to help develop transportation infrastructure in New York, which will lay the groundwork for automated transport and encourage the use of clean energy. Robert will help ensure a safer, sustainable future for New York in his future career as a consulting engineer. Please join me in congratulating Robert Kovac. Congratulations again to all our award of merit winners and scholarship recipients. During our 100th anniversary, the Scholarship Fund celebrated the milestone of over $1 million in scholarship distribution since its launch. This year, adding to this total, 25 New York engineering students will receive a total of $89,500 in scholarships. Please join me in recognizing the dedicated members of the Scholarship Committee whose efforts made this success possible. Every year we laud the importance of investment in the next generation of engineers. These talented young men and women will be sitting in these chairs celebrating tomorrow's accomplishments before we know it, and it is our job to prepare them for these roles. ACEC New York will continue to provide assistance to these amazing future engineers. Please join me in congratulating this year's scholarship winners. The Scholarship Fund would not have achieved all that without the generosity of our scholarship donors. On behalf of the engineering industry, Thank you for your generosity, and I encourage those firms not listed to consider a named scholarship or other generous future donation to the ACEC New York Scholarship Fund. Since 2011, ACEC New York Scholarship Fund underwrites a $3,000 ACE Mentor Scholar of Greater New York Scholarship to the student who plans to study engineering in college. In 2021, in honor of the 100th anniversary of ACEC New York, an additional scholarship donation in the amount of $1,000 was awarded through the Region 1 Professionals of the National Society of Black Engineers to the Ianya McGritt, a student at Brooklyn Technical High School. For 2022, in addition to the annual $3,000 scholarship for ACE Mentor, we will donate another scholarship through the NSBC, this time for $3,000 to a black high school student looking to pursue engineering. Now let us celebrate the accomplishments of former engineering students of the not-too-distant past. Please direct your attention to the screens as we recognized our gold and platinum winners.
The following projects have won gold awards.
For excellence in the category of studies, research, and consulting engineering services. AECOM for Hudson Square, West Village Transportation Study, and the client is New York City Department of Transportation.
H2M Architects and Engineers for Smithtown Comprehensive Master Plan. And the client is Town of Smithtown, New York.
NV5 for Bridgeport Complete Streets Design Guide. And the client is City of Bridgeport.
STV for Glassboro Camden Line EIS. And the client is Delaware River Port Authority.
For excellence in the category of building technology systems.
AKF Group for White Plains Hospital Center for Advanced Medicine and Surgery. And the client is White Plains Hospital.
CNS Companies for Building 100 Innovair Advancement Center. And the client is Oneida County.
CNS Companies for renovation of Main Services Building. And the client is the Art Jefferson, St. Lawrence.
Cameron Engineering and Associates for New York City Housing Authority Rental Assistance Demonstration Expanded Bundle 3. And the client is Magnuson Architecture and Planning.
Gannett Fleming Engineers and Architects for Metro North Railroad Grand Central Terminal Training Facility. And the client is Metro North Railroad.
Siska Hennessy Group for Alexandra Cohen Hospital for Women and Newborns. And the client is New York Presbyterian Hospital.
For excellence in the category of structural systems. AECOM for Burtonville Road Spur Bridge Replacement over tributary to Schoharie Creek. And the client is Montgomery County Department of Public Works.
Erdman Anthony for John James Audubon Parkway Bridge. Superstructure replacement at Roundabout. And the client is Town of Amherst.
Hardesty and Hanover for structural rehabilitation of 4 overhead bridges. And the client is Metro North Commuter Railroad Company.
McFarland Johnson for context-sensitive connectivity in historic Wanakina South Shore Road Bridge replacement. And the client is St. Lawrence County.
McNamara Salvia Structural Engineers for 11 Hoyt Street. And the client is Tishman Spire.
For excellence in the category of waste and stormwater. Hazen and Sawyer for green infrastructure in Southeast Queens. And the client is New York City Department of Environmental Protection.
For excellence in the category of water resources. Cameron Engineering and Associates for water quality improvements at Gary Park, formerly Roslyn Pond Park. And the client is Victor Thomas, R.A., Acting Commissioner.
Camp, Dresser, McKee, and Smith for Suffolk County Subwatersheds Wastewater Plan, and the client is Suffolk County Department of Health Services.
D&B Engineers and Architects for Emergency PFAS treatment at Well 7. And the client is Incorporated Village of Mineola.
HDR for CRO 518 Wetland and Stream Restoration at the former Armonk Bowling Alley, and the client is New York City Department of Environmental Protection. WSP USA for East River Marsh Habitat Enhancement, and the client is the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation. For excellence in the category of transportation, GZA for foundation rehabilitation of the Henry Hudson Bridge, and the client is COE North America.
HDR for installation of ADA elevators at 57th Street Station. And the client is MTA New York City Transit.
Jarros Baum and Bowles for Moynihan Train Hall Phase 2, and the client is Skidmore, Owings and Merrill.
M&J Engineering for bridge deck replacement and repairs, towns of Riverhead and Islip, Region 10. And the client is New York State Department of Transportation.
Tectonic Engineering Consultants, Geologists, and Land Surveyors for Citywide Ferry Landings, New York City. And the client is New York City Economic Development Corporation.
Wendell for downtown Lancaster West Main Street Road Extension. And the client is Village of Lancaster.
For excellence in the category of special projects, D&B Engineers and Architects for Final Clarifier's Concrete Rehabilitation Corrosion Protection Project, and the client is Passaic Valley Sewerage Commission.
D. Simone Consulting Engineers for One Wall Street renovation. And the client is Maclow Properties.
Gannett Fleming Engineers and Architects for New York City Transit Fan Plant 7204, and the client is New York City Transit.
H2M Architects and Engineers for Somers Central School District district-wide safety and security upgrades. And the client is Somers Central School District.
Hardesty in Hanover for rehabilitation of Henry Hudson Parkway Viaduct, and the client is New York City Department of Transportation.
KS Engineers for Robinson Avenue area water distribution improvements and alleviating area flooding. And the client is New York City Department of Design and Construction.
Urban Engineers of New York for reconstruction of the Rockefeller Park Playground, and the client is Battery Park City Authority.
WSP USA for Maybrook Trailway Section Design Build. And the client is MTA Metro North Railroad.
The following projects have won Platinum Awards for excellence in the category of studies, research, and consulting engineering services. Sam Schwartz Engineering for public transit and COVID-19 pandemic, global research and best practices. And the client is American Public Transportation Association.
VHB for Baldwin Downtown Revitalization Initiative Strategic Investment Plan. And the client is Empire State Development.
For excellence in the category of building technology systems, ERA for United States Olympic and Paralympic Museum. And the client is Anderson Mason Dale Architects. Loring Consulting Engineers for SUNY Stony Brook West Campus Innovation Discovery Center, and the client is Mitchell Girgola Architects. O'Brien and Gear Dewberry Joint Venture for New York City College of Technology Voorhees Hall Energy Performance Contract, and the client is City University of New York.
Susquehanna Group for Accenture Headquarters. And the client is Accenture.
Woodard and Curran for comprehensive water system SCADA upgrade. And the client is City of Yonkers.
For excellence in the category of structural systems, AECOM Tishman. For Jacob K. Javits Convention Center expansion. And the client is Empire State Development.
D. Simone Consulting Engineers for 378 West End Avenue. And the client is Alchemy Properties.
H2M Architects and Engineers for additive manufacturing process structural technology. And the client is SQ4D.
Jacobs for City Island Access Pier Reconstruction Design and RE Services. And the client is New York City Department of Transportation.
Lyra Consulting Structural Engineers for David Rubenstein Forum, University of Chicago. And the client is Dillersco Video and Renfro.
Muser Rutledge Consulting Engineers for Skyline Tower, foundations for Long Island City's tallest tower. And the client is Hill West Architects.
Severud Associates Consulting Engineers for Museum of Modern Art renovation and expansion. And the client is Gensler.
Severud Associates Consulting Engineers for 1 Vanderbilt Avenue. And the client is SL Green Realty Corporation.
Thornton Tomasetti for National Veterans Resource Center. And the client is Shop Architects.
WSP USA for 111 West 57th Street. And the client is JDS Development.
For excellence in the category of surveying and mapping technology, KS Engineers for topographic survey and SUE for the JFK Terminal 1 Airport project. And the client is JFK Terminal 1.
WSP USA for Burnt Ship Creek drone mapping. And the client is the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation.
For excellence in the category of environmental, GEI Consultants for Hunts Point Site D. And the client is New York City Economic Development Corporation.
WSP USA for Sawmill Creek Wetland Mitigation Bank. And the client is New York City Economic Development Corporation.
For excellence in the category of transportation, C&S Companies for Runway 1735 Rehabilitation Phase 2. And the client is Clinton County Plattsburgh International Airport.
HDR for I-95 The Last Mile. And the client is New York State Thruway Authority.
LK McLean Associates for intersection improvements to County Route 19. And the client is Suffolk County Department of Public Works.
Stantec Consulting Services for 1 Vanderbilt Transit Improvements. And the client is SL Green Realty Corporation.
For excellence in the category of special projects, Barton and LaJudas for Onondaga County Canalways Trail Extension Project, Phase 2, Segment 3. And the client is Onondaga County Department of Transportation.
Cameron Engineering and Associates for Needlepoint Bipolar Ionization System Engineering Services for MasterCard Tech Hub. And the client is Siemens Industry.
CHA Consulting for Franklin D. Roosevelt State Park Pool. And the client is New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation.
Creighton Manning Engineering for Olympic Sports Complex at Mount Van Hovenberg Site Improvements. And the clients are Reifenberg Construction and Olympic Regional Development Authority.
Infrastructure Engineering for Reagan Memorial Tollway, I-88, roadway resurfacing, and bridge repairs construction management. And the client is the Illinois State Toll Highway Authority.
McFarland Johnson for Brownfield Reclamation for the Community Mixed Use Development. And the client is Peter Lutzy and Brothers Contracting.
McMillan Jacobs Associates For resident engineering services for installation of new 20-inch subaqueous water main extension and new 12-inch subaqueous high-pressure gas main from the Bronx to Randall's Island. And the client is New York City Department of Design and Construction.
Stantec Consulting Services for South Surrey Interceptor Phase 2, Johnston Road Section. And the client is Metro Vancouver.
For excellence in the category of energy, WSP USA. For Rochester Area Reliability Project, Station 255. And the client is Avangrid RG&E. ACEC New York, leaders in the business of engineering.
Ladies and gentlemen, all of that during a pandemic. OMG. Let's go. Congratulations to all our Gold and Platinum Award winners. As a reminder, silver, gold, and platinum plaques have been shipped to the winning firms directly. Now, to begin the final portion of our program, I'd like to introduce our two guest MCs for this evening, Congressman Ritchie Torres and Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis. Representative Ritchie Torres is a fighter for the Bronx who has spent his entire life working for the community he calls home. At 25, Ritchie became New York City's youngest elected official and the first openly LGBTQ person elected in the Bronx. At the City Council, Ritchie stood out, and during his 7-year tenure, he tenaciously tackled problems, big and small, for the Bronx and New York City. He passed over 40 pieces of legislation, including legislation protecting the city's affordable housing stock and tackling the city's opioid epidemic. As the chairman overseeing NYCHA, he held the first committee hearing ever in public housing, which led to a $3 billion FEMA investment, the largest in New York City history. As chair of the Oversight and Investigations Committee, Ritchie has led investigations into heating outages and lead poisoning at NYCHA, the tax medallion scandal, the city's controversial third-party transfer program, and Kushner Companies. He represents New York's 15th congressional district and is a member of the Financial Services Committee and serves as the vice chair of the Homeland Security Committee. Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis was sworn in on January 3, 2021 to represent Staten Island and Southern Brooklyn. For 5 terms in the New York Assembly prior to her current role, Congresswoman Malliotakis fought to restore ethics in Albany, expand transit services in her district, improve programs for senior citizens, reform education, and improve New York's economic climate by reducing the tax burden on small businesses and on residents. A cornerstone of her tenure was helping her community recover and rebuild following the devastation of Hurricane Sandy in 2012. In addition to advocating for these same issues in Washington, Congresswoman Malliotakis is acutely focused on securing New York's fair share of federal mass transit funding, which would go towards expanding transportation services and easing traffic congestion. Please join me in welcoming Congressman Ritchie Torres and Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here tonight to celebrate some of New York's unsung heroes. Events like tonight highlight what some of us take for granted: safe buildings, efficient transportation, and reliable energy. All of this and more would not be possible without your efforts, and I'm proud to stand here with my colleague from across the aisle, Congresswoman Malliotakis, to recognize your accomplishments.
Thank you, Congressman Torres. I am also proud to honor the men and women in this room for making life possible in New York. The projects we have already seen tonight are marvels of ingenuity and vision, and we have saved the best for last. Now, without further delay, we will recognize 23 Diamond Award-winning projects. These projects earned the top scores in each of 11 categories. As we read the winners, a copy of each project's award-winning panel will be shown on the screen above, and after the final award is presented, we will announce the Empire Award, the top-rated project designed and built within New York State. We ask for your cooperation, respect, and silence during these awards, and Ritchie and I promise that we will do, even though we're from different parties, we will get along better than Will Smith and Chris Rock tonight.
Yeah, we did. You know, I will say if we manage to go through the event without a physical assault, that's mission accomplished. And by the way, Congresswoman Malliotakis and I proudly both voted for the bipartisan infrastructure investment. But back to the script, may I ask ACEC Chair-elect Art Barrett and Engineering Excellence Committee co-chairs Tom Casino and Luke Martinek to join us here on stage. Rick will be presenting plaques to winning member firms, and Art will be presenting plaques to the winning clients. We will now present the first of 23 Diamond Awards. For excellence in the category of studies, research, and consulting engineering services, Hazen and Sawyer. For inundation model, accepting for the firm are Charles Wilson, Associate Vice President, and Sandeep Malhotra, Vice President.
For excellence in the category of studies, research, and consulting engineering services, Hazen and Sawyer. For revitalization of existing water supplies, and accepting for the firm is Kristen Barrett, the Associate Vice President, and Sandeep Malhotra, Vice President.
For excellence in the category of building technology systems, AKF Group, LLC. For Kroger High-Tech Fulfillment Centers, accepting for the firm are Deborah Ryder, partner, Sean Stockwell, electrical engineer, and Bridget Hardiman, lighting designer.
For excellence in the category of building technology systems, Dagger Engineering. For Tammany Hall, adaptive reuse of a New York landmark. Accepting for the firm are Josephine Zarica, Principal, and Daniel Nielsen, Associate Principal. And accepting for the client is Todd Poisson, Partner of BKSK Architects.
For excellence in the category of building technology systems, Jaros Baum and Bowles. For One Vanderbilt, accepting for the firm is Christopher Horch, Associate Partner.
For excellence in the category of building technology systems, JFK&M Consulting Group, LLC. For New York City, H&H COVID Emergency Enhanced Air Quality Design Services, 12 hospital clinic sites in Manhattan and Bronx, New York. Accepting for the firm is Edward Feinberg, partner, and accepting for the client is Oscar Gonzalez, Assistant Vice President of New York City Health and Hospitals.
For excellence in the category of structural systems, AirUp. For Little Island, accepting for the firm is David Farnsworth, Principal.
For excellence in the category of structural systems, D. Simone Consulting Engineers for Greenpoint Landing, Block D, and accepting for the firm are Stephen D. Simone, Chairman and CEO, and Luis Ramirez, Principal.
For excellence in the category of structural systems, Muser Rutledge Consulting Engineers. For foundations for Hudson River Park's Little Island, accepting for the firm of Roderick Elman Jr., Principal, and Raj Chin Thamorni, Associate.
For excellence in the category of structural systems, Thornton Tomasetti for Capital One Hall, accepting for the firm are Michael Cropper, Senior Associate, and Jennifer Greenwald, Project Engineer.
For excellence in the category of surveying and mapping technology, Langen Engineering, Environmental Surveying, Landscape Architecture, and Geology. For Moynihan Train Hall, accepting for the firm is Paul Fisher, Principal. Accepting for the client is Matthew Bradley, Senior Project Manager, Empire State Development.
For excellence in the category of environmental, H2M Architects and Engineers for Basilical Soil Wash Plant. Accepting for the firm is Ernest Iannucci, Senior Vice President and Discipline Director for MEP. And accepting for the client are Rob Tassi, Wash Plant Manager, and Caitlin Servideo, Senior Design Architect for Basilico.
For excellence in the category of waste and stormwater, Wendell. For Hurdle at Deer Real-Time Control Project, accepting for the firm is Christopher Chapman, Senior Civil Engineer, Senior Associate Principal.
For excellence in the category of water resources, Dewberry for new 20th subaqueous water mains for new 20-inch subaqueous water mains in City Island, and accepting for the firm are Patrick Ronan, Project Manager, and John Boulay, Senior Vice President. Accepting for the client is Eric McFarland, Deputy Commissioner of Infrastructure Division of New York City Department of Design and Construction. Nice tops.
For excellence in the category of transportation, AECOM. For New York Penn Station, LIRR Train Hall Renovation Phase 1, 33rd Street entrance. Accepting for the firm are Nelson Monticello, Vice President, Design Manager, Michael Vorwind, Associate Vice President, and Anil Parikh, Vice President. Accepting for the client is Peter Matasuich, Vice President, Deputy Program Executive, MTA C&D.
For excellence in the category of transportation, Parsons for RK23C new ramp K from RFK Bridge to northbound HRD. Accepting for the firm are Seth Condell, New York, New Jersey Area Manager, Raul Carhuano, Senior Project Manager, and Brian McDermott, Vice President. And accepting for the client are Bill Neubauer, Facility Engineer of the RFK Bridge, and Ryan Kallenberg, Assistant Facility Engineer of the RFK Bridge for the MTA Bridges and Tunnels.
Thank you.
For excellence in the category of transportation, Severud Associates Consulting Engineers. For Moynihan Train Hall, accepting for the firm is Brian Falconer, Principal. Accepting for the client is Matthew Bradley, Senior Project Manager, Empire State Development.
For excellence in the category of transportation, Stantec Consulting Services for New York State Thruway Authority's conversion to cashless tolling. And accepting for the firm are Robert Cartwright Sr., Principal, Chris Carter, Associate, and Tom Walsh, Vice President. Accepting for the client is Richard Lee, Chief Engineer for the New York State Thruway Authority.
For excellence in the category of special projects, Cameron Engineering and Associates LLP. For FDNY Training Academy Live Fire Training Building, accepting for the firm are Joseph Amato, Senior Partner, and Michael Holtz, Partner. Accepting for the client are Tara Anand, Special Projects Manager, and Irma Fontaine, Chief Architect, FDNY.
For excellence in the category of special projects, Jacobs for flood mitigation and resiliency on 148th Street Yard, New York, New York. And accepting for the firm are Shivani Patel, New York Operations Lead, Nino Paraglia, Senior Project Manager, and Tyrone Acosta, Project Engineer.
For excellence in the category of special projects, Langen Engineering, Environmental Surveying, Landscape Architecture, and Geology. For 1 Vanderbilt Avenue, accepting for the firm are Arthur Alzamora, Principal, and Michael Nilsson, Associate Principal. Accepting for the client are Jim Gutman, Vice President, Hines, and Nicole McGlynn, Senior Associate Principal, Cohen, Pedersen, Fox Associates.
For excellence in the category of special projects, STV and AECOM joint venture for World Trade Center Vehicular Security Center and Tour Bus Parking Facility. And accepting for STV are Robert Papakia, Vice President, and Diana Molina, Project Manager. And accepting for AECOM are Antoine Abidargan, Vice President, and Letitia Rasu, Project Manager.
For excellence in the category of special projects, WSP USA. For Farley Building Redevelopment, Moynihan Train Hall Project, accepting for the firm are Jerry Giannetti, Senior Vice President, New York District Business Lead, Kelly Polarski, Deputy Project Manager, Supervising Engineer, and Sean Pratt, Project Director, Vice President. And accepting for the client is again Matthew Bradley, Senior Project Manager, Empire State Development.
Now we come to the most anticipated moment of the evening. The Empire Award is given to the top-rated project in the Engineering Excellence Program that was designed and built entirely within New York State.
On the screen behind us are those Diamond Award-winning firms that are eligible to win this award. The winner is only known by a select few people and has not been announced until this very moment. The winner is...
All right, Ritchie, you do the drum roll. All right, ready? Severud Associates Consulting Engineers for Moynihan Train Hall for the clients Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill.
Five decades after demolition of Penn Station and almost 30 years after the plan's conception, Moynihan Train Hall restores a grand entrance to New York City.
The redevelopment is a 21st century transportation hub that greatly improves access and interconnectivity and offers many amenities to improve visitors' experience. Congratulations to the Severud team.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much to ACEC New York, and thank you, very much to everybody that has participated in this award ceremony. There were a lot of great projects and a lot of deserving people, and I am thrilled that we were able to win this award. Engineering isn't something that you do by yourself, even though someone comes up to do it. There are a lot of people in our firm and other organizations that participated in doing this project. And I'll tell you that this project was very special to me and very special to almost everybody that worked on it. You know, it really was a great project for New York. It was something that we could share with other New Yorkers. It's something that we could share with people visiting the city. And, you know, we're very proud of it, and we're happy that you recognized it, and we hope that many, many people can enjoy it for many, many years. Thank you very much. Oh, one last thing. And the unsung heroes are our spouses that let us go work crazy hours and do millions of things instead of spending time with them. I want to thank my wife, Virginia, and everybody else and all the families that have put a lot into the engineering industry for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us tonight for the 2022 Engineering Excellence Awards. We have been honored to act as your MCs tonight. We're relieved that we managed tonight with nonviolent bipartisanship. And even though the bar is low in the Oscars, we've demonstrated that it is high at ACEC. So.
Congratulations again to all the winners, and a special congratulations to our Empire Award winner. And as a reminder, the photo room in the ballroom foyer will open in 15 minutes. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Okay,